Hello, my beautiful reader friends. Welcome back to the start of yet another weekly vlog. And before I jump in, I just want to take the time to say thank you so much to all of you that left very kind words to me about my last video. If you know, you know. I won't go into too much detail about it because if I do, I still get a little bit emotional. So it's best to kind of just keep it a little light and airy at this point in time. But I wanted to take the time to say thank you. It means the world to me to connect with even just a couple of people here. I say that all the time, and honestly, I mean that. And it felt so good to just kind of put my life out there and have even just one person, although there were multiple, that left me comments that just melted my heart into a puddle. So thank you so much for that. Moving on into lighter and brighter things, which is what I am going to be reading for this vlog, and one of my most anticipated reads for the year, because even though we are still reaching temperatures of about 80 degrees outside, it is September, which in my opinion is the academia month. It's back to school month and the perfect time to read any and all dark academia novels or academic-based novels that I can get my hands on. And again, the most anticipated read for me this year, probably so far, which is Katabasis by R.F. Kuang, and this beautiful book. I just love the cover of this. And I love that we're kind of just doing, I don't know if the camera will focus on that, like sprayed edges and like beautiful special editions everywhere. My husband got this for me at Costco. Don't sleep on Costco for books. They often have very good deals there. But I am so thrilled to have started this book, and I did start it. I am admittedly about almost, I want to say close to 200 pages in, maybe like 180, but typical to R.F. Kuang, it is very dense, very heavy. Like, in fact, it's heavy. Like, this book feels like it weighs 12 pounds. I don't know why. So it's clearly another very wordy novel by her, but I am eating it up so far. So if you have read any of her other books, more specifically Babel, it is very much like that, where it's very dense with the descriptions and the words, but I really enjoy it. And because it's so heavy on the academic portion, like, she does not skimp on the fact that this is supposed to be a novel based at a university, which is Cambridge University, and we follow a main character named Alice who is studying magic. She's going to be a linguistics magician at Cambridge, and it's really kind of cool because it's just a known thing that becoming a magician and studying magic is something that you can do. So she has gotten into this graduate program at Cambridge, and she is working under this advisor who is just well known for being the worst, like worst human on the planet, basically. People can't stand him. He's awful. But if you can get a position under him, you are guaranteed to basically get tenure or a job outside of your graduate program. So she is basically suffering through hell, foreshadowing, to secure a spot and work under him. And she believes that it will all be worth it. Of course, along with her in this cohort is, I don't know if you could call him like an arch nemesis, but he is basically her opposite in the program, and he is a very skilled, naturally talented magician, and she feels like she's always working like 10 times as hard just to match him or beat him in things. So there's this tension between her and this other student in the program. So really right at the beginning of the book, it kind of just hits the ground running, which I also appreciate. So I can say that so far I noticed the pacing is a little different. So if you maybe read Babel in the past and it wasn't quite your jam, again, that book is very, very heavy, very dense, and very slowly paced. This feels different. So basically right at the beginning of the book, she is working to get herself to hell. She knows from studying as a magician how you can actually travel to hell. This is something that magicians have done for years. It's something that is well known how to do, but there are, of course, consequences for traveling to hell and back. And she's going there because her advisor, that is awful, has basically met his demise and ended up in hell for his soul to be reincarnated, and she needs him back so she can get what she wants. So her arch nemesis, what have you, also joins her on this journey to hell, and that's basically how the book starts. I'm going to try to keep this semi-spoiler free because I know there's probably a lot of people that have been waiting for this book to come out, so I'm not going to give super detailed information. I don't consider those spoilers because that's basically the synopsis of the book. But with that being said, it has been a very interesting story so far. Again, heavily based on academics. So she is wicked smart. I mean, they're talking about school and studying and being magicians and studying it academically. So it is very heavily leaning into the academic side of things, which I personally enjoy. There's also really cool like maps and stuff in here. So they're basically showing you like the levels of hell, like the different circles of hell that they have to travel through to try to get to this advisor and bring his soul back. So I really enjoy the story so far. It was funny when I first read the synopsis of this, and I'm probably not the only one, but I was thinking, how is this different than Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo? Someone tell me that, because that book is actually one of my favorites, like top tier, was my personality for the longest time after I read it. I probably talked about Leigh Bardugo and that book specifically for almost a year straight on this channel. If you know, you know. If you've been here since then you understand what I'm saying. But I can say it definitely has its differences. So I am very pleased to discover that. But anyways, I am really excited to read this book at the very first like Burr month of the year, fall-ish month of the year, and kind of just get myself into that mindset of fall and spooky season even more than what I was feeling. And the funny thing is, I am actually part of Leah's book club. So I'll link her channel here so you can check her channel out if you don't already subscribe to her. And they picked this book for the September book club, and it's really nice because she's offering schedules now with her book club reads, which are obviously optional. And it was, I believe, like read chapters 1 through 10 for like the first week of September, and I am already on chapter 12. I literally can't put this book down. I am also supplementing a little bit with the audio. I had some credits on Audible, so I thought, because it's so dense, I think I'm going to incorporate that just to kind of help chip away at the book a little bit more, but I don't even know if it's needed. Like this, I have forgotten how absorbing her books are. It's just one of those books, and I'm sure you know what I mean. Like you pick it up, even if you're like struggling to want to read, I pick this up and I am like hooked within a couple of sentences. Every time I am sucked back in. So I am thoroughly enjoying it so far because it is so dense. I don't know if it's the only book I want to read. So possibly hitting up the bookstore this week to maybe find something that would mix in well with this. Maybe something a little bit lighter, maybe even a romance. I don't know. We'll see. Don't quote me on that, but I do have plans to at least read as much of this book as I can in this vlog. So without further ado, we are going to head into the rest of the week, chip away at this book as much as we can. And I hope you are excited to be on this journey with me this week because I am feeling a little bit lighter, a little bit more, or a little less of a hot mess, I guess. There's always a certain level that I maintain of being a hot mess. So let's not get that mixed up. I am always a little bit right here. But last week I was like through the, like above the camera, like you can't even see it. That's where I was at. So at least we are kind of hitting baseline again and ready to just kind of sink back into life and feel like all of the fall spooky academic vibes. It's just giving me life right now. So anyways, really excited to be reading this, really glad to be doing this along with you guys. And let me know in the comments below if this is an anticipated read for you. Do you like dark academia? Have you read her novels previously? And does this one spark your interest even if you haven't enjoyed something in the past? You never know. I don't always like to sleep on authors that I haven't liked one book from because you never know. So anyways, here we go into yet another week, and we are going to do it together. So I'm going to read as much as I can this afternoon, and then I will check in with you guys when I have another update on how I am feeling about Katabasis and will I truly love it the further I get into the book. Tell me that this is not the perfect vibe for reading a dark academia novel. Dark, rainy. Dash loves it. Tis the damn season. See what angle we've got. Whoops. All right, so happy weekend, everybody. We've made it through the horrors of yet another week, and I am very excited because I got some book mail yesterday that I wanted to open on camera. I am still chipping away at Katabasis, and I'm about 50% through, I believe, right now. And because it is such a dense and thick girl book, I think I might start incorporating something else. Sometimes when I read something really long, especially at, I don't know, I guess it doesn't matter what time of the month, but it feels like at the beginning of the month when I pick up a really heavy book, it's like I end up spending 2 weeks reading a really long book, and then I feel like I haven't accomplished anything within the month, which I know that doesn't always matter, but sometimes it just makes me feel better to read more than one thing at once. And I think what is in this box might be a good option for that. So I am going to open this one. This was very graciously gifted to me by my friend Michelle. Hey, Michelle. Sorry, let me get this started, is part of the Aardvark book club subscription. It's not a club, it's a subscription, sorry, which is very similar from what I can tell to Book of the Month. Okay, you know what? There's clearly some tape on this situation that I'm not witnessing. One day I will be one of those like really cool, flawless influencers that can like open things on camera. Today, my friends, will not be that day. And that's okay. Oh, so anyways, before I interrupted myself, she is part of the Aardvark box subscription, and she chose this book for her last month's pick, and they accidentally sent her more than one. So she very graciously sent it to me, and she was like, I think you'll love this book, so I'm gonna send it to you. And oh my gosh, she sent me more than one thing, which does not surprise me. But the book in question is The Once and Future Me by Melissa Pace, and I don't even really know too much about it. As soon as she told me about it, I added it to my TBR. But I believe it's a fiction novel. So it says, Virginia, 1954, when a woman wakes on a patient transport bus arriving at Hanover State Psychiatric Hospital, she remembers nothing of her life before that moment. None of the dark things she must have seen and done that forged her into the skillful and cunning fighter she is. Doctors tell her she's Dorothy Fraser, a paranoid schizophrenic committed for her violent delusions. She's certain they're wrong until disturbing visions of a dystopian future in which in which frantic scientists urge her to complete the mission and save mankind begin to invade her reality. Believing it's Hanover causing the hallucinations, she tells no one and focuses only on escaping until there's a visitor, a man whose loving face and touch she remembers, a man who knows all about her visions because he's spent years helping her cope with them, her husband, Paul Fraser. Now she's sure of nothing, caught between two realities. Believe in the future, she might save the world. Believe in her husband and doctors' plans for her treatments, and she might save herself. She needs answers, but to get them, she'll have to harness the darkness inside her as she risks her freedom, her mind, and ultimately, her life in a heart-stopping quest for the truth. Oh my God. That sounds gripping. It sounds like very dramatic and kind of suspenseful almost. So this sounds fantastic. I think this might be something I could definitely start reading in tandem with Katabasis, since that is such a very specific type of book. I think I could kind of layer something else in there. And let's look at what else she sent, because she only told me she was sending one book. And of course she sent something else. Spark of the Everflame by Penn Cole. Oh my God, and she wrote a letter. Oh, Michelle, you are too much. Lori, I have added a copy of Spark of the Everflame deluxe paperback. All books from the series will be published in this format eventually. I already have the series in hardcover, 3 published so far. So Penn Cole was an indie author that got picked up by a publisher, so the 4th book was pushed back, but fingers crossed it comes out by the end of this year. The series has become my holy grail for adult romantasy. It is a slow burn and packed full of plot, world-building, magic systems, many characters to love. No pressure to read, but when you get around to it and happen to love it, I'll send you the next book. I can't with her, oh my God. I tell any woman I meet in the romantasy section at Barnes & Noble to read this series. Oh my gosh, she listed out the entire series and she signed it. P.S. Don't let this first one fool you. They get longer every book. Oh my God, you are so kind to me. She is seriously one of the most thoughtful and giving people that I've never even met in person. And I think that's why I get so choked up all the time about connecting with just a couple of people on this platform. It has literally been a dream come true. I the friends that I've made on either Bookstagram or here on BookTube has changed my life. And you don't even realize the gifts that people give because they just share the passion of reading with others. And they're like, I have the perfect book for you. And that is, in my opinion, an unmatched relationship. I don't know. It has just brought so much joy to my life. Michelle, thank you. I am so excited for both of these. And I am definitely going to read Spark of the Everflame. So don't you worry about that. Oh my God. I love her. I love her. Okay, so the next book I received was my book of the month pick for this month. And another highly anticipated book that I can't wait to read, which I'm not going to read just yet, but I will get there eventually. And that is Alchemy of Secrets by Stephanie Garber. Oh, look, it's so beautiful. I love it so much. Oh my gosh. Oh, so for those of you that don't know Stephanie Garber, she wrote the Once Upon a Broken Heart series. Let me move this box now it's in my way. And I was completely obsessed with that series. It was a young adult series, but so beautiful and whimsical and kind of just really got me back into young adult books. I don't know if I've read a young adult book since that series that I've even enjoyed personally. So this is her adult debut novel, and this is an early release from Book of the Month. So if you are interested in this, get yourself on there to Book of the Month, see if they still have any left. I don't know if they do or not. So no promises from me on that, but I figured we would read the synopsis of this one together as well, in case you don't know what it's about. Maybe by the end of the synopsis, you might want to add it to your TBR as well. Folklore 517. Local legends and urban myths taught by a woman called the Professor. Most students believe the Professor's stories are just fiction, but Holland St. James has always been convinced that magic is real. When she tracks down a local legend named the Watchman, who can supposedly tell you when you'll die, the world finally makes sense, except that the Watchman tells her she will die at midnight, tomorrow, unless she finds an ancient object called the alchemical heart. With the clock ticking, Holland is pulled deeper into this magical world in the heart of Los Angeles and into the path of a magnetic stranger. Everything about him feels like a bad idea, but he promises Holland that her sister sent him to protect her. As they chase clues and stories that take them closer to the alchemical heart, Holland realizes everyone in the intoxicating new world is lying to her, even this stranger, and if she can't figure out whom to trust, not even the alchemical heart will save her. Oh, it just sounds so magical and kind of dramatic, and just the vibe of this book, like the cover of it alone, kind of gives like that old Hollywood feeling to it, and I'm really, really excited to see how I feel about her adult novel. If I feel exactly the way I did with the young adult, hopefully I do. I mean, because it's kind of odd for me to really even like young adult at this point anymore anyways. So I have good feelings about this book. I'm not going to read it quite yet. I'm going to save this one, but I just wanted to show it on camera and then get it out there for anybody who, I don't know, might like a vibe like that. Magic, Hollywood, secrets, love, you name it. Sounds like it's in this book. So yeah, anyways, I just wanted to open my book mail on camera and say thank you so much to Michelle one more time. I can't believe the way that you have spoiled me thus far. Like, it's even greater than I can explain to you guys. So I am so thankful for all of you and for Michelle, and the fact that we all love the same thing. That's like amazing, that there really is a community out there for people that love the same thing as you. Here we are. So it is Saturday morning. I am getting ready to go to the gym right now. I think I might take you guys with me. I am gonna meet some friends there. We have a competition next weekend that we have to kind of run through some workouts for, kind of do a little pseudo practice, if you will. So I might post up the camera, get a little bit of footage of that, and then hopefully get much more reading done this afternoon. So I wanted to just do this little book mail check-in, and I will check in again later when I have another update on Katabasis. And until then, I hope you have a lovely Saturday. All right, bye. I feel like
I'll shut it down, yeah. I'll shut it down, yeah. I'll shut it down, yeah. I'll shut it down, look. I'll shut it down like a trunk getting closed, and they ain't on this level, bro, you really not close. Even in the summer, told them that it's so froze. Not talking about bass when I say I get low. I've been trying to get more, now I'm stacking my accounts. It's all going stupid, yeah, the numbers in the mouse. Heard them going quiet, so I turn it up loud. And they saying they ain't feel it, but they bout to feel it now. Need another check going extra, and I got a gas, no Tesla. Said I need a meal, no less, bruh. I ain't seen it yet, so I might go request ya. They been taking shots, need your best now. Seen them all talking while they chest out. Too much going, got them stressed now. And they see me winning, told them why you so upset now. I'll shut it down, yeah. 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 I'll shut it down.
All right, my friends, well, you know the drill. It is the final check-in time for this reading vlog, and this is somehow turning into my final check-in spot. I don't know why. It's just very comfortable to sit here and talk about the books that I'm reading. So, sorry, not sorry. This is the scenery again for this vlog. But what I've been reading for this vlog, and I'm going to say this, Katabasis. So I'm saying it that way because I also incorporated some of the audio to help me chip away at this dense book. And that's how they pronounced it in the audio. I don't know if that's right. I call it katabasis. That is probably just my horrible Midwestern accent coming into play, but they said katabasis in the audio. So I don't know. What are your thoughts? How do you pronounce this? Because I'm dying to know how wrong I've been this entire time. But I did officially finish this book today, and I have thoughts. I have feelings. They're a little bit different than I thought they would be. So I know I've kind of given the synopsis of this book, and I've tried to make this spoiler-free because I know that this was an anticipated read for a lot of people, so I don't want to just put tons of spoilers out there. So apologies if I'm being too vague, but this is basically about two students that go to hell, literally go to hell, to try to gain back the soul of their advisor at Cambridge, who is this awful, awful man, but he is their ticket to getting a guaranteed job at the end of their graduate program. So they basically need to go and find him and bring him back to try to secure their futures. The entire book basically takes place in hell, which I did enjoy, but I think I wanted it to be more at the school setting. So the good thing is it kind of jumps back a couple of times throughout the book with both main characters. So our female main character, Alice, and our male main character, Peter, who are kind of part of the same cohort under this advisor. And they aren't necessarily enemies, but they're not friends because they're kind of both fighting for the top spot under this advisor to be like the best magician that he knows and, just, I don't know, be the best of the best. So they travel to hell together to try to get their professor back. And it does jump back and forth to times from each POV while they are at Cambridge, but I think I wanted more. I wanted more of the school setting. So even though it was kind of cool because it takes place in hell and they are literally going through the different circles of hell, the different levels, the different layers, what have you, to try to find this professor, I think I was wanting the school vibe. I wanted it to be more dark academia. And typical to R.F. Kuang, it is heavily worded, very, very dense, which I do enjoy, but sometimes it does start to feel kind of long and kind of draggy. So I did enjoy the fact that they had to kind of go through each level of hell. They have to get to each one and kind of not necessarily complete a task, but it almost feels that way to get to the next circle of hell. And along the way, they, of course, run into all sorts of hellish creatures and people or shades, souls that are lost in hell. So it is intriguing in that way. But again, I kind of just wanted more school, I think. I wanted to be on campus more. The relationship between the two characters, I did enjoy, but I think I also wanted a little bit more. I wanted more attention between the two of them, because it's clear that even though they've been kind of butting heads at school and fighting against each other as far as the top magician, even if it was a little bit unspoken, I think I wanted a little bit more, I'll just say it, sexual tension between the two of them. As the book kind of got towards the end and I was getting a little bit okay, is this going to come in for a landing soon? There's almost I guess in this scenario, the third act breakup, and Alice almost becomes a little bit unhinged. It just seemed a little out of left field. She was literally just out of to give and was kind of just going a little batshit crazy to complete this entire thing, for her herself to bring it in for a landing. So Some stuff does happen towards the end of the book that did get a little bit more interesting, but it felt a little weird. Like it felt so much different than the narrative of the entire book that it was almost a little jarring. But then it does kind of proceed into something else. And I did like the way that it ended. It just felt like it took so long to get there. And you had this like writing style in almost like the slow build, slow burn the entire time. And then there was just like bam, 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 like this chick is going wild. And then it ends. So it just felt a little not fluid. I don't know. I don't know if I'm making sense, but all in all, I enjoyed the book. I just don't think it quite hit the mark for me in a few areas. So all that to say, I'm kind of going to sit on it for a minute before I rate it because I'm kind of not sure at this point in time how I want to rate this book. But altogether, I did really enjoy it. And with that being said, I didn't actually start another book like I had planned on because I did kind of start chipping away at this one more. I just kind of really wanted to see what was going to happen and how it was going to end. So I have not started another book yet. I did show you all of the options for my book mail that I have, but now I'm kind of deciding what it is that I want to pick up next. So I think that's going to be where we start the next vlog. I might have to do a bookstore trip. That way I can get some stuff in hand and read through a few things to see what's really going to be landing for me right now. So tune in for the next vlog to see where I pick up and what I'm going to read next. And also stay tuned because I do have some sit-down videos coming very, very shortly that are going to be spooky season and like all of the fall things related. So that will be really fun and exciting to kind of do for my second year in a row on my booktube channel. But all in all, thank you for joining me on this very lengthy vlog. Again, I keep reading like these big books and then doing these more extended vlogs. I went from doing like mini vlogs to 2-week vlogs, and that was not the intention, but you know, life just throws things at me constantly, and I just try to roll with the punches, you know what I mean? So anyways, I am so glad that you joined me on this one. Let me know if this is on your TBR. Do you plan on reading it? Have you read it? Let me know in the comments down below. Maybe try to keep it a little bit spoiler free so we don't ruin it for others, but I would love to know your thoughts on this book. I have to sit with it. I got to sit with it. But anyways, if you liked this video, go ahead and hit that thumbs up button because it always helps a girl out. And if you want to make sure you don't miss those upcoming vlogs or the spooky season videos coming shortly, hit that subscribe button too. And as always, it has been an absolute blast. I'll see you guys in the very next vlog.